What's going on, guys? It's Jeremy. Today we're going to be talking food prepping and food preparation tips. Food prepping and just prepping in general is, two things in this community. Either one, it's underestimated by a lot of people, I feel like, or it's overcomplicated by a lot of people. And I would say it's more times than not overcomplicated more than anything else. People dive into prepping and they try to take on everything all at once and they become overwhelmed, and then they either lose interest or they miss a lot of really key basic steps. So there's gonna be two parts of this video. You guys are gonna go to the store with me now. I've got a list of things I'm gonna get. I'm just gonna talk about different tips of things that I get, how I get them, why I get them, when to look for them, all that kind of stuff. And then the second part, we're gonna go back home. We're gonna put together this new kind of like beginner's project idea that I've been working on. I've just kind of really thought of. In summary, it's basically like a 30-day tub of food for one person at 2,500 calories a day. And it's kind of like a very good baseline for beginners for people to start. And I'll go over the inventory of that and all that later. So let's go to the store. So we just got to the store. I don't know what you guys have where you're from, whether you just go to a general Walmart. I'm from the Southeast in Kentucky, so we have Kroger is like our big one. So I'm gonna go into Kroger. I have no idea what the deals are like today. I'm not necessarily shopping deals. I'm kind of just trying to get a general ballpark idea of what this new project is really gonna cost at any general given time. So I don't know any of the deals or anything. We'll talk about deals and stuff like that in there, but let's go inside. I have also never filmed in a store and like tried to make content or anything like that. So be prepared for some awkward takes. So a lot of people break down food categories kind of into like four or five things: corn, oats, rice, beans, and miscellaneous. I don't really follow that to that degree. I kind of stay within that parameters, but nobody wants to eat 500 or 600 calories in corn a day. I don't want to do that. So you kind of got to learn to figure out stuff that you like. So the first big thing we'll talk about is rice. I'll make this quick. I always usually try to buy the biggest bag of rice that there is, and I always go white rice. You could buy these smaller bags depending on what you're trying to bulk for, but I always split my rice up into like Mylar bags or mason jars. So, I go big 10-pound bags, 20-pound bags, and then I split things up. Another big category is beans. Pinto beans and kidney beans are probably the biggest, or black beans. Though for space purposes, unless you eat canned beans on a normal basis, I usually tell people to do raw, dry beans and, package them in Mylar bags or airtight bags, and, save yourself the space from these, because these are full of water and they take up a lot of space. I personally find baked beans to just be more enjoyable in general if you're a bean person. So when it comes to stacking beans to eat on a normal basis as like a food supplement as a side, I normally just go, like with a Bush's baked bean, and like today, luckily, they're on sale, 3 for $5, $1.67 each versus normal $2.19. So these are a part of this project that I'm making. So I picked up a few cans of this. One thing I'll hit on right now is that whenever you buy anything that's canned, you want to check the rim and just the can in general for dents or damages, specifically around the rim, because that could show a sign of, anything getting in there, or, just damage to the solidness of your can. So always remember to check your cans when you buy canned foods. So tuna and canned chicken is a great source of meat when it comes to food prepping. Stays good on the shelf for a couple years and that you could always use. Again, I always tell people to go with, the packaged tuna, because there's less water, it's going to be lighter, and they're smaller, it's easier to fit in certain places, and just if room is of great concern. So I always tell people to go with packages. Same with chicken. So in this 30-day food tub thing that I'm making right now, we don't consider pasta as part of like the 30 days worth of food. We're actually making a completely separate tub that is a pasta and soup tub. So pastas are one, very inexpensive and have good shelf life, but they're a very dense source of carbs and calories. So definitely consider pastas into your food prepping. Another thing we'll hit on real quick is hot sauces and other condiments. A lot of this food's gonna be fairly bland to begin with, so remember to incorporate seasonings, hot sauces, and any other type of stuff that you like into your food preparedness, logistics, because eating plain boring food is going to get really old really quick. We're trying to live, not just survive. So I'm going to pick up a thing of hot sauce to put into this 30-day crate that we're creating, and we'll also pick up some seasonings, and we'll talk about that later. This is a good stopping point to kind of say that when you're looking to build your food preparedness supply and all that kind of stuff, you need to consider buying foods. You got to have some give and take, but you got to consider buying foods that your family is going to consume on a normal basis, because the general idea is that you eventually cycle through all this. You don't just buy all this food and in a couple of years when things start to expire, you just throw shit out. So you want to get foods that you always get. So if you're a soup family, buy soups. Soups are good. They're usually good for 2 years, 3 years, whatever in a can. They're small, they're easy to store. So if you're a soup family, get soups. If you're a chili family, get canned chilies. Get things that your family is going to enjoy. So I'm gonna hit on vegetables and fruits real quick all at once. You gotta have your fruits and vegetables considered into your food preps. I try to consider a vegetable or a fruit per day, because fruits and vegetables every day can start to take up a lot of space, considering you're probably buying canned, not fresh. But you need to have one of those things for the good sugars and vitamins that they provide every day. So like these green beans here, a pack of 4 for $1.99. Same thing with this corn. We talked about corn earlier. Not everybody wants to eat a ton of corn, but corn has a lot of carbs, so you consider some corn. Fruits are similar, so get fruits, get vegetables. They're good for you. Eat your fruits and vegetables, kids. So we're in the baking aisle, and I'll hit on baking stuff fairly quickly. Flour. Gotta have flour. Gotta have a way to store flour specifically. I prefer Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Flour has a very good shelf life. Sugars, on the other hand, sugar does not have a very long shelf life. You've got about a year, year and a half, with your general white sugars. And outside of your baking stuff, you have to have stuff like evaporated milk, for baking stuff, maybe other sugars, brown sugars. You gotta have your baking soda, baking powder, vanilla extract, stuff like that. So if you don't know how to bake, generally, learn how to freaking bake. But besides that, if you can't go to the store and get bread or do anything like that, you're going to need baking stuff. So if you need to, make yourself a little cookbook, buy baking stuff. So pancake mix, something people probably wouldn't think about, but when it comes to breakfast foods and the preparedness side, there's a lot of things that you're not going to be able to get. And eating oatmeal every day is really boring. So pancake mix usually has shelf life of 1.5 years, 2 years, and most of it you just add water, and you can add honey, which has a great shelf life to it, or syrups to it. So pancake mix, big go-to for breakfast. One other thing that you should consider with food is beverages. So different types of like lemonade powders, fruit punch powders, electrolyte additives, stuff like that. One, it helps diversify water, because water gets very boring and makes your meals more enjoyable. But you also need those vitamins and electrolytes that come from a lot of stuff like this. So whether you get like little lemonade packets, you do the Gatorade packets, the little Mio squirt bottles with vitamins, whatever, something like that. 2 things I'm gonna talk about real quick. Honey, really long shelf life, used for a ton of different things. Put it in teas, to ease sore throats. Put it on pancakes, put it on your oatmeal, whatever it is. Honey has a long shelf life, good for a lot of things. Peanut butter, decent shelf life, really dense in calories. I'm allergic to peanut butter, so I don't really bulk prep or buy peanut butter, but peanut butter is definitely something good to put on the shelf. All right, guys, we are done at the store. We're gonna go home, kind of lay all this out, look at the receipt, and kind of talk about a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of things I didn't hit on in the store. I didn't talk about water. Water is a completely different video on itself. Not that it's complicated, there's just water. There's so many different ways to do water. You buying water in bulk, or you filtering water, you having a filtering system. So water is a whole nother video. And again, this is a basic introductory style video. I could do an entire video on how to prep just baking stuff for like making bread and other sweets and stuff like that, things that you'll want when life really sucks. So today we're just hitting, the basics, and we'll talk about more of that when we get home. All right, guys, we are home. We have everything out on the table, so we're going to kind of go through that and talk about everything we have and why we have it. So, big thing first off is the proteins. I have a protein for every single day at 2 packages a day. So I have 30 packs of chicken and 30 packs of tuna. So every day, whoever's eating from this tub basically gets 2 packs of some form of protein. Like we talked about before, either a vegetable or fruit a day, and then also, corn or beans a day. And this is split up by serving size, not necessarily by the whole can. Because obviously nobody's going to want to eat like a whole big thing of beans every day. And, this tub is kind of designed for one person, yes. But since your tubs are probably going to be pretty identical, your family can eat from these tubs, just one tub at a time, and split up these servings. That way you're not trying to store or preserve things. Another thing we got here are these Idahoan potatoes, these instant potatoes. All you got to do is add water. They have a pretty good shelf life. They're really good, and they're densely packed in carbs. So, these are a good meal filler when it comes to like size and stuff like that. Ramen, another meal filler, lots of carbs, good shelf life. A lot of preppers don't like ramen noodles just because, they're not very nutritionally packed and there's a lot of sodium. But for short term, I think ramen is really good, especially with just how much carbs you get out of it. And only requires water. One other big thing we got breakfast-wise, like we talked about, pancake mix, good shelf life. We got honey or syrup for that, and the honey or syrup can be used with our oats later, and I'll talk about this stuff in a second. One other thing we got here is we got some seasonings. So we have onion and garlic powder for foods, and we have ground cinnamon for like pancakes and oatmeal, and any type of other stuff like that you may put in your box. Salt and pepper, obviously. In other tubs, I'll keep larger things of salt. But for here, we just keep natural table salts just for salt and pepper for just seasoning foods and whatnot. Hot sauce, and then again, some lemonade for beverages, just adding to water just to help, kind of make our meals a little more enjoyable. With the rice and oats, I have a lot of this already in Mylar bags, and I'll briefly talk about this. So what I do is in every one of these quart Mylar bags, there's either 3 cups of oats or 3 cups of rice. And then I just put an oxygen absorber in them, and then I vacuum them shut, and then they pretty much seize up real nicely. The oats don't get quite as tight as the rice just because they're a little fluffier and they hold more air, but the rice are really solid. But I had a ton of this already bagged, so this wasn't part of the overall math equation. So for everything on the table, it was $120, like almost exactly on the dot. That was without shopping sales or anything like that. It was just going to the store and buying what I wanted. And then this tub, I got at Lowe's for $12.99. I've seen them at some places for like $11 or whatnot. These are the heavy duty tubs. And then I have, obviously I talked about the rice and oats. I've had a ton of that in already stored. So all together, everything here, 30 days of food at about 2,300 calories a day, just a tad over, is $150, maybe just a little hair under. So for $150, basically $5 a day, that's not too bad for 30 days worth of food. I think it's worth it. Hopefully you think yourself and your loved ones are worth it. But we're going to put all this into the tub, and then we're going to talk about the storage about that, and then we're going to talk about the Excel sheet, which I have on the inside of every tub. So let's pack everything away. All right, guys, so we have everything packed into the tub, and everything fits in here really well. The tub is just a little bigger than what you would consider your average household storage tub. This is a heavy-duty one, 27-gallon tub. But everything fits in here very nice. You could honestly fit more in here, but, I start to take weight into consideration. I don't have trouble lifting these tubs, but, I'm also a younger, fit guy. Not everybody can lift these, these heavy tubs. So right now this is really bearable, and I'm happy where this is at. We could fit a few more things in here if we wanted to, but I think this is a really good start. On the inside of each lid, you'll find that I've put the inventory sheets for that tub. So we have the item, we have how many of that item there is, the calories and macro breakdown, and then the expiration dates of that item. And, the macros may be a little overkill, but, I like that kind of fine detail. And this inventory sheet is extremely helpful, I think, in just overall organizing your different logistical supplies, because I can open this lid at any point in time and see, what is expired or what's coming up on being expired, the item that it is, and the amount of items that it needs to be replaced with. So I definitely suggest being at this level of organized. It doesn't take much. It's really just a simple Excel sheet. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Not too bad. I don't know the exact weight of this. I haven't really taken that into consideration, but it's not horrible. I'd probably put it around, I'd say probably around 40 pounds. So not that bad at all. I could be completely wrong though. All right, guys, that's it. That is a very basic introduction to prepping. It was a little all over the place, but hopefully you learned something from it. If you're new to prepping or you're a little lost, if you don't copy this exact idea, I very much encourage you to do something like this until you find out what you like. Prepping is all about, experimenting and finding what you like. I am constantly changing, and what I see is upgrading, my preparedness system and the logistics and the organization of it. And it's just something you have to do, and it comes with time. Basic summary of this again, just under 150 bucks. Just over 2,300 calories a day for 30 days. About $5 a day. You have to take your own preparedness serious, and I think that's not too much to ask for. How much is your preparedness and the future of you or your family really worth? So you kind of have to eventually prioritize if you're really going to get into this. That's really all we got, guys. If you like this content, like, subscribe. We're going to be coming out with a ton of stuff. And I'm just going to cover a wide range of topics. This channel is not limited to anything. So, till next time, guys, stay safe, stay prepared.